All right, guys. I wanted to make a video talking about this little interview I saw that was conducted by This Morning, this platform called This Morning. And I wanted to tell you guys my thoughts on some of the things that Tyson Fury had said in this interview. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about was Tyson Fury had said in this interview that he's really thinking about retiring. Like, that's like a big thing in his mind after this ESPN contract is over with, because Tyson Fury has obviously he signed I think it was a 5 or 6 fight deal contract. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was it a 5 or 6 fight deal, but it was one of those type of deals back in like late 2018, early 2019 with ESPN. And obviously he's already had like several fights. He had the Otto Wallen fight, the Tom Schwartz fight, the Deontay Wilder fight. So I think he says he has 2 fights left. Now, obviously, in this interview, he says that he's going to be fighting Deontay Wilder if Deontay Wilder activates the third fight. So I'm guessing this interview was conducted maybe a few days ago, because Deontay Wilder has already activated it. He wants the third fight, so they will be fighting in the trilogy. So that's going to be his next fight, and then I guess he'll have one more fight, and then after that, it's over. So he's going to retire maybe. So I just really hope that like when he does beat Deontay Wilder, I hope that he fights Anthony Joshua, uh, unless he decides to come back and keep fighting and sign another contract to keep fighting. Uh, because it would be a shame if he doesn't fight Anthony Joshua. I really hope that he fights Anthony Joshua after he gets past Deontay Wilder. That would be the best thing for him to do for the fans. That's the fight that everybody wants to see, him versus Anthony Joshua. So hopefully, with his last 2 fights, one of those fights will be Anthony Joshua, and hopefully, if the money's right and they offer him the right money, he'll be willing to take the 2 fight deal with Anthony Joshua. Another thing I wanted to talk about was that he was talking about Wilder's excuses, and he was saying that a lot of times these fighters, when they lose, they can never just accept it, and they can never just come out and say, listen, I lost to the better man. He beat me fair and square. It's always something. It's always he had a bad training camp. It's always, he got an injury in training camp. It's always this guy's fault. And he was saying this because the interviewer told him about, Wilder was saying that the only reason he lost was because he was weakened by wearing his costume. So obviously, Fury knows that Deontay Wilder's full of shit, and he's just coming up with excuses as to why he lost. And I agree. I think that he should just. I would have respected Deontay Wilder a lot more had he come out and said, listen, I lost fair and square to Tyson Fury. I think a lot of people would have respected Deontay Wilder a lot more if he would have come out and said that, but people kind of lost respect for him for saying that. He says that he beat Wilder in the first and second fight, so he's going to definitely beat him in the third fight, and I 100% agree with that. I think he has Deontay Wilder's number. I know he has Deontay Wilder's number. Another thing I wanted to talk about was he said that Anthony Joshua is a fake champion. He's not the real champion because he didn't beat the man that was the man. Now, obviously, we already know the situation there. Anthony Joshua won those belts. He didn't face Tyson Fury, but it wasn't Anthony Joshua's fault. Tyson Fury had mental health issues. And they stripped him from the belts. There was a whole bunch of shit going on during that time to late 2015, 2016. And the biggest thing about that was the fact that Tyson Fury just had mental issues, and he was, depressed. He wasn't fighting, and he got. I don't even want to talk about the things that happened because that's like a whole nother video. But boxing moves on. The heavyweight division moves on. So even though he was the champion, they had to strip him because obviously boxing moves on. So it's not Anthony Joshua's fault that they stripped Tyson Fury, and that's why he ended up winning those belts. That's why I want to see them fight. I want to see them fight so we could see, who is the best heavyweight out of the two, instead of just going around always saying, oh, he didn't beat the man that was the man. Well, then fight each other, and then we could see who is the best heavyweight, right? And yeah, I just wanted to make a little video about that. There's not really much going on in boxing. Anyway, guys, I'm out.